Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm Heather Stamper and today is a part 2 of a teacher hack video. So in the last video, I explained how students can cross-check the pictures and the words to make sure the reading makes sense. But what do you do if it's a novel or a chapter book where there may be a couple of pictures, but there aren't a lot of pictures? So I'm going to show what to do in that situation. It has to do with, well, if there are pictures, being able to use those to cross-check, but also stopping and retelling just to make sure that you understand what's going on. Kind of like an extra to the backup beep beep strategy. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, there are videos in the Teacher Hack playlist that would explain that. So please check those out. All right, so the book that I'm going to use to demonstrate is The Tale of Despereaux by Kate DiCamillo. This is one of my all-time favorite top 10 children's literature books. So good. I love this one. I usually end up reading it about every year or every other year, depending on the maturity level of my class. This is considered a middle grade novel, and they made a movie of it, and like most movies that were made from a book, the book is way better. So I'm going to give an example here of how you can check for understanding with something that is a longer novel. And as you can see, this first page has no pictures whatsoever. So it's not something that you can just cross-check. But what you can do is when you finish a paragraph or you finish a page, to pause a moment and check for understanding. What do you know that happened in the story? Who are the characters? What's going on? Things like that to help cement your understanding of what's happening in the story. So I'm going to read the first page, chapter 1, the last one. It's kind of a ominous chapter already. Sounds like something bad. You know, the last one what? The last cookie? The last piece of cake? The last dress in the shop? Let's find out. The story begins within the walls of a castle, with the birth of a mouse, a small mouse, the last mouse born to his parents, and the only one of his litter to be born alive. "Where are my babies?" said the exhausted mother when the ordeal was through. "Show to me my babies." The father mouse held the one small mouse up high. "There is only this one," he said. "The others are dead." "Mon Dieu! Just the one mouse baby?" "Just the one. What will you name him?" "All that work for nothing," said the mother. Okay, I'm going to pause right there because that is the end of the last sentence of that page. So here's what we know is going on. Who's in the story? Well, we've got some mice. We got a mother mouse who's obviously French because of the way she's speaking. And we have a father mouse. Where do they live? In a castle. Said so right there in the text. What's going on? Well, the mother mouse had given birth to some babies, but only one seemed to have survived, which I guess is the reason why the chapter is called The Last One, because only one baby survived. But we'll continue on. She sighed. "It is so sad. It is such the disappointment." She was a French mouse who had arrived at the castle long ago in the luggage of a visiting French diplomat. Disappointment was one of her favorite words. She used it often. "Will you name him?" repeated the father. "Will I name him? Will I name him? Of course I will name him, but he will only die like the others. Oh, so sad. Oh, such the tragedy." Okay, I paused here because I'm about halfway through that page, and I can check here. Obviously, I was right. Mom is French. Kind of had that idea from the few French words that I know, but she's a French mouse, and she doesn't seem to have a whole lot of hope for the one baby that survived. I don't know if I like this, Mom. But anyway, I'll finish the page. Or the chapter's very short. All the chapters in this book are very short. The mouse mother held a handkerchief to her nose and then waved it in front of her face. She sniffed. I will name him. Yes, I will name this mouse Despereaux, for all the sadness, for the many despairs in this place. Now, where is my mirror? Her husband handed her a small shard of mirror. The mouse mother, whose name was Antoinette, looked at her reflection and gasped aloud. Toulouse, she said to one of her sons, get for me my makeup bag. My eyes are afraid. This is the end of that page, so let's cross-check. Let's check for understanding here. So we've got a castle with French mouse that gave birth to a bunch of mice, but only one survived. She decided to name him Despereaux because disappointment is one of her favorite words, and she is kind of sad. Well, I would imagine so. But, wow. That'd be like naming your kid Gypped because, you felt like you got taken advantage of. That's not cool. See, part of checking for understanding is synthesizing thoughts about the text based on what you know to help cement ideas. So that's another little trick that you can use. When Antoinette touched up her eye makeup, the mouse father put Despereaux down in a bed made of blanket scraps. The April sun, weak but determined, shone through the castle window, and from there squeezed itself through the small hole in the wall and placed one golden finger on the little mouse. All right, hold up. Little finger of the sun? I know that can't be right. That must mean the sun's rays. See, there's that check for understanding. That phrase, while it's very poetic and literary, may not be easily understood by younger children who may not have been exposed to much literary language. So this would be a good opportunity to discuss that. The other older mice gathered around to stare at Despereaux. His ears are too big, said Merlot. Those are the biggest ears I've ever seen. Look, said a brother named Furlough. His eyes are open. Pa, his eyes are open. They shouldn't be open. It's true, Despereaux's eyes should not have been open, but they were. He was staring at the sun reflecting off his mother's mirror. The light was shining onto the ceiling in an oval of brilliance, and he was smiling up at the sight. Well, there's something wrong with him, said the father. Leave him alone. Despereaux's brothers and sisters stepped back, away from the new mouse. This is the last, proclaimed Antoinette from her bed. I will have no more mice babies. They are such a disappointment, and they are hard on my beauty. Wow. Again, end of that page. Let's check for understanding here. So there are older siblings in the little mouse house there, and they all think that the new baby is strange. He's got big ears, and his eyes are open. And I know that baby animals, baby mammals especially, small ones like dogs and cats, they don't have their eyes open when they're born. They have to get a little bit older for their eyes to open because they're not developed enough yet. So this tells me that Despereaux is going to be something very unique because he looks different from his family members and already he acts differently. So yeah, there's that. They ruin for me my looks. This is the last one. No more. The last one, said the father, and he'll be dead soon. He can't live, not with his eyes open like that. But reader, he did live. This is his story. Now, here's where we can cross-check because there's an actual picture at the end of this chapter here. We'll see there's the mother mouse, and there's the mirror. So that lines up to what I was thinking about. There's the baby. There's little Despereaux. Oh, he's cute. He's a little guy. And his eyes are open. And the light is shining on him. And the father mouse and the other little mice are like, oh, something wrong with that kid. But it does give for a very interesting jumping off point if you're reading this novel to your students. I would say 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade is a good place to read this story. I've always read it to my 2nd graders when I felt the class had enough experience to handle the story. And it usually has a pretty deep impact. It's a very, very good book. There's a reason why I was a Newbery medalist. So, folks, if you haven't read this book, I highly recommend it. And again, you can do some checking for understanding when reading a novel or a chapter book by stopping every page or every paragraph, depending on what the structure is, and ask yourself some questions. Who's in the story? What's going on? And if you can't answer those things, then you need to back up and reread so that you can understand what's going on. And there you have it. So if you like these types of videos, please click like, subscribe, and ding-a-ling the notification bell, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.